Hey, this is Roger Whitney here, the Retirement Answer Man, and we are dedicated to helping you not just survive retirement, we want you to rock retirement. And today we're going to focus on financial resources. But man, my dog's barking, so we're going to take Sherlock for a walk to try to make the financial part maybe a little bit interesting. So let's go get the dog and we'll go for a walk. You ready to go for a walk, boy? All right, come on. It's obvious that we're not going to get any work done or help you organize your financial resources until I wear this boy out. So let me get to it. Come on, buddy. All right, buddy. All right, did you get worn out? All right. I think I wore him out a little bit. You go play, buddy. Well, so today what we're going to do is we are going to organize our financial resources, which doesn't sound like that much fun. It's definitely not as fun as last week in dreaming up our ideal retirement. So I hope you still dreamed big when you were thinking about your ideal retirement. But obviously we have to convert that to cash flows and figure out how the heck are you going to pay for this great life that you thought of. So when you think of your ideal retirement, this is what it would look like in a cash flow model, right? So each one of these colors represents a different need, want, or wish that you came up with, happening in different sequences as you age from retirement until the end of your life. And we have this nasty thing called inflation, which is increasing the costs of pretty much everything we want to buy from the time that we retire until, you know, we leave this world. So we got to figure out, we dreamed up this awesome life. How the heck are we going to pay for it? I got to make sure he doesn't run off. Okay, he's there. So how the heck are we going to pay for this wonderful life? Well, this is step 2, which is organizing your financial resources. And it doesn't feel a lot of fun, right? Unless you're a geeky person who loves spreadsheets and likes to do that naturally, this is something a lot of us want to avoid. So before we get started here, I want to give you permission. I want to give you permission to forgive yourself. Don't worry about where you're at, what mistakes you've made in the past, because it's very easy when we get to the black and white of the things that we're going to talk about to get into the coulda, shoulda, wouldas, right? We're going to get into, hey, I could have saved more. Why did I spend so much? Why did I make those crazy investments and lost all that money? Whatever it is. Regardless of where you're at, it's where you're at. So you have to take the mindset of, look, no recriminations, no replaying the tape. We're going to deal with and define where you're at exactly and figure out the next intentional steps to create the life that you want. We've all made mistakes. Trust me, maybe I'll do it one day. I'll chronicle all the horrible financial decisions I've made, and I'm the expert. Hey, we're all in the same boat. So we have 2 areas we need to identify what resources we have to pay for that amazing retirement that we dreamed up. And the first line is income sources. So we want to make sure that we factor in Social Security, assuming that we have it. That, hey, if we have a pension, and if you do have a pension, you should be smiling because it definitely helps a lot. And then maybe you have rental income, royalties, payouts from a business that you own. Anything that you can identify as an income source is going to help fill the gap of all that spending that you have for your ideal retirement. So you don't have to make this more complicated than you need to. Right now, and we'll give you a resource, so go to the link below and you can get a resource to help you organize so you can just fill in the blanks. So when you identify the pensions, the Social Security, the part-time work, the royalties, whatever you have to help fund these goals, you want to make sure you know these 3 things. You want to know, okay, how much is it on a monthly basis, right? Because we want to know what kind of cash flow we have coming in. We want to know when is it going to start, and when is it going to finish? So if you say part-time income, which we'll talk about here in a second, if you know it's going to start 2 years after you retire because you want a little honeymoon period, right? Who wouldn't? And then it's only going to last for 3 or 4 years, well, put that in there. Once we have that organized, we're going to go to what resources you have. Hold on here. I think I got a cop. All right, I'm back. I had my dog off a leash and I saw a cop pull up. I didn't want him to, give me a ticket, right? So when we're talking about income sources, I want to talk about a pro tip here. And it's the concept of pre-retirement. We did a video of it a couple weeks ago. But it's something that you should consider. I'm not saying you have to do it, but it's something you should consider even if you don't necessarily need the money, right? Because a lot of times we think of retirement like a light switch, right? It's either all work or no work, and there's not really anything in between. I mean, that's normally how we plan for retirement. When in reality, the most successful retirements that I've seen is when a client or someone has thought of retirement like a dimmer switch, where it's not a binary option, it's how do I dim down full-time work and bridge to what we consider normal retirement, right? Like our grandparents. And that has some benefits when you start to think intentionally about how you can do that. So what are some of the benefits? Well, number one is you got income, right? Even if it's a fraction of what you had when you were working full-time, you still have income. You have a reason to get up in the morning. You have some purpose, of helping people. You have the ability to make more friends outside of maybe your career, so you have some social aspect to it. And you have some flexibility. We'll talk about flexibility. That is, hey, if you got this income coming in, which is helping preserve your assets, which makes you feel more in power, because transitioning to retirement feels a little scary, right? And if the world goes awry early in retirement, you're still able to be in the game a little bit and pivot in the event that life makes you do that. But wait a second, this is exciting. Wait, this is just like a me. But wait, there's more. Yes, there's more than just that. If you embrace this idea of pre-retirement, even if you don't necessarily need it, in addition to all those benefits, it's like currency that you can go use to buy yourself something that may be more important to you. I mean, how cool would that be, right? So what do I mean by that? Well, by saying, hey, I'm willing to work part-time for 4 or 5 years for a very fraction amount, it doesn't have to be in your current job. That, from a planning perspective, could buy you some pretty cool things. It could allow you to take less investment risk because we don't have as much demands on your money. It could allow you to gain more time freedom sooner, meaning that if you're willing to work part-time, maybe you could get out of the rat race 1 or 2 years earlier than you otherwise could from a planning perspective. How cool would that be? Maybe you could have more lifestyle now because you don't have to save so much because you know you're going to have this income coming in. Or maybe you can have more of that ideal retirement that you're thinking about. So this idea of pre-retirement, not that you have to do it, but it could buy you something you care about more, and it's something that should be on the table to discuss and make a decision about. Okay, so that's all I got to say about organizing your financial resources. Now we have to talk about the true love of my life when it comes to finance. Sherlock, I may love this more than I love you, and that is really, I'm sorry, that is the net worth statement. The net worth statement. Oh, how I love the net worth statement. Do you like the net worth statement, buddy? You like that? Okay, so let's talk about that. All right, I had to move because I didn't like the way that cop was looking at me. Hold on, see, you can see him over there. See him sitting over there? What is he doing over there? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna give you a ticket for dog not on a leash. Anyway, all right, so we're good. Let's talk about net worth statements. So, how do you build one? Well, lucky for you, I have a resource that you're gonna get. You can get a link below to help you build your net worth statement. So basically, what is a net worth statement? So it is all of your assets listed. So your house, your bank accounts, your investment accounts, your 401k. You list all of your assets on one side, usually the left side. And then on the right side of the ledger, you list all of the debts that you own, your mortgage, maybe your car loan. And then you total them up on each side. And then you take all of your assets and you minus your debt. And that gives you what your net worth is. And this is an extremely important document. It's probably the document I refer most to when I'm having conversations with clients because it encapsulates the majority of the resources that you've accumulated, the wealth that you've built over time that you have to marshal to conquer the ideal retirement. So this is where it can be a little hard if you haven't kept one, because it's all on one piece of paper. So give yourself some grace, regardless of the journey that you've been on. You are where you are, and it's about what's the next intentional act I can do to make a great life. So when you're building your net worth statement, I suggest that you categorize them in a couple ways. I want you to have all your after-tax assets. So those are assets that you've already paid taxes on. So probably your checking account and your savings account, and maybe you have a rental house or a business that you own. Categorize those under after-tax assets. And then your pre-tax assets, that's going to be your IRAs, your 401ks, money that you have but you have not paid income taxes on yet. And then tax-free assets, which that's probably going to be like your Roth IRA or your Roth 401k. And then the last category we want to have is what are called use assets. So if you think of your car as a great example, right? Until we get driverless cars, you're always going to have a car. So you don't want to fool yourself by putting the value of your car and letting it inflate your net worth, because there are two different types of assets. There are use assets, things that you own that you enjoy, but really don't have a lot of value if you were to go sell it, or have a lot of value that is producing for you right now, right? Like your house would be a use asset. Now you could sell it, and then it would become what the other type of asset is, which is called a productive asset. Something that's either earning your income or growing for you that you can access easily. So I put use assets on a net worth, but we pay less attention to them because they're not something we can really use to fund this amazing retirement you thought of. So now a pro tip, and this is really why I love the net worth statement, is, so wait, pro tip, I wrote it, I want to show you, is it does three really cool things. Is first off, it acts as your personal benchmark. So it's easy to compare ourselves to the Joneses or the Smiths or to the markets, right? I mean, it's just a natural human thing, I guess, at least in society. One thing that I have found is that, and I have clients where we literally have tracked their net worth statement for some of them, I guess, 2 decades. And it's a great benchmark to judge how you're doing, because your net worth is going to show the end result of all these decisions that you've made over time. So when you get worried about, hey, I think Mr. Smith is doing so much better than I am, well, that doesn't help you get to where you want to go, right? And it can make you feel, sort of inferior, right? Man, I suck compared to them. Well, a net worth statement, you can go back and look and say, wow, look at where I was 5 years ago compared to today. Look at all the intentional acts, and this is the result of those. So over time, as you get into a rhythm of tracking your net worth, you can use it as your own personal benchmark. Second is, number 2, is it really helps you identify intentions versus actions, right? Because we all live in this world where there's a pull between those two. Because intentions, I have a lot of intentions. I would love to lose 10 pounds, right? I have very good intentions of getting down to a good lean 185. But here's the deal, I haven't done it in a year. And how do I know that? Because when I get on the scale, it shows me the result of all of my actions, eating potato chip with dip into my mouth. So I can have the great intentions of saving, of paying off debt, of not using credit card. And your net worth will reflect to you whether your intentions are actually becoming actions, right? So it can be tough sometimes, but it also can be really good. And then lastly, it's a great decision dashboard. And I talk about this, I think it's chapters. Hey buddy, where are you going? Come here. He just got out of his leash. All right, you go run around. I think the cop's gone. It can be a great dashboard for you making decisions. So when you're gonna make a bigger financial decision, you pull out your net worth statement and you look at all of your resources, and you make a decision of how you allocate those resources to work towards this life that you care about. So your assignment is to grab the 2 resources I have below in the links and organize, okay, what do I have to marshal to create this ideal retirement? If you want a more intense guide, you can go buy the book, Rock Retirement. I didn't bring a copy here, but that's a shameless plug because I talk about how to build and organize these financial resources and give you some more tips. I hope you're enjoying the Retirement Plan Live Flying Solo Edition. Hey, Sherlock, come back here, buddy. Whoa.